Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Minute channel, and today we're going to be talking about Persona 3. Why am I talking about Persona 3? Because there's been a lot of rumors and just talk regarding a remake for Persona 3. Now if you guys don't know this and you're new to my channel, welcome. Please subscribe and like the video if you can, and let's go ahead and jump into this. So, Persona 3 isn't my favorite game. Let's go ahead and put this in perspective here. It's my first Persona in Mega Man Tensei game that I played, and overall I do consider it to be one of the more superior games in the series. That being said, that game has not aged really well. Whether you go and play the original Persona 3, Persona Fest, which is Festival, or Persona 3 Portable, all three of them have aged pretty poorly in different kind of ways. Whether it's the original one, which lacked a lot of content, Festival, which was missing a lot of stuff, including the ability to switch between party members where you can control them, or Portable, which it lacks in content when it comes to cutscenes and all different stuff right here. So all three of the different copies of Persona 3 have their own downside and good sides, and overall I think that this is a good time to talk about a remake. What would I like to see in a remake? What would I like to see being remade or redone or anything like that, besides the obvious stuff like graphics and that kind of stuff? Because obviously everybody can say, well, I want new graphics. Well, of course everybody wants new graphics. That's the top whole point about doing a remake, because we want it to look better. But I do want to point out that I don't want a port. A port doesn't really make any sense to me, because one, you can really pretty much play this game in almost all the systems except for the PS4, of course. You can play this on the PlayStation 2, you can play this on PlayStation 3, you can play this on the PlayStation Vita or the PSP or the PlayStation TV. I mean, you can emulate it. There's so many ways to play this game. So a portable wouldn't really do. A port wouldn't really do any sense to anybody. It doesn't really make a change for me, particularly. However, a remake, on the other hand, will definitely get a lot of people talking. Why? Because the P engine, the engine that is Persona 5 is made on, is definitely an engine that can run good games that make not only do they look better, but also play better and smoother. I really like the way that they changed the gameplay for Persona 5. Persona 5 has a completely different style of gameplay. Well, it's still turn-based. There's all this different stuff that they added and changed, making it more streamlined, but it really make it easier. As I was replaying, which I am currently replaying Persona 3 Portable, and I actually replayed Persona Festival pretty, soon after that as well. So I'm definitely kind of replaying it and getting my own ideas and everything about it. And I would like to see some changes when it comes to that. The gameplay, particularly the way that you interact with the personas and the way that you do certain attacks and everything. A lot of the stuff that works really well for Persona 3 or Persona 3 Portable is when it comes to the way that you do certain things. This game can do some pretty serious damage when it comes to whether there's these cards that you can add into your persona that levels up your stats. I really love that. There's this arcade that you can go to increase your stats as well. There's all the different ways that you can really increment that. I love that kind of stuff. What I don't like are the stuff that with the gameplay when it comes to certain aspects of it. Inventory management per se is a little bit more cluttered in this game than in Persona 4 or Persona 5. Especially Persona 5 has really adjusted things. In this one you really have to go through and everything to do that, and it can really be a bother quite a bit. The bigger thing that I would like them to work on is also the cutscenes. The cutscenes on the original game had aged pretty well when it comes to actually the look and everything. The animation is still pretty well done. I feel like it's really sturdy and everything, so it's pretty good, but it's a little bit aged. It hasn't aged well, especially when you look at the games, and the maximum resolution you can get in that game is probably 720p on the PlayStation 3, and it's still not really good when you look at it in the long run. It's just really pixelated and it doesn't look fine. If you play the PlayStation Portable version, you actually don't even get any cutscenes at all. They're just completely missing and everything. Another aspect that I would like them to remake is the confidants, or the social links as we call them in Persona 3 and 4. The social link aspect is always been heavily discussed, and I haven't been prepared for social links by themselves, but I would like them to revamp this one particularly, because the social links are either too easy or too hard. You can either go through them pretty fast, in like a month or two you can finish some social links, but on the other hand there are some confidants that require require you to wait until your stats are completely maxed out before you can even start their confidence. And I am talking about the 3 main girls on your party, whether it's Mitsuru or Yukari or Fuka. All of them require either courage or charm or intelligence up to the max level possible before you can even interact with them. That really makes it so that you don't really interact with your body at all much, especially in the first few months. Now, a lot of it can be granted because of the storyline. In the storyline, you don't really they don't really like you. You guys aren't really friends. You're more like acquaintances that kind of have this team together for a greater goal. So you don't really have that friendship mechanic in any of this here. Overall, over time, you grow and you adjust with these characters, and you finally are able to unlock their confidence, and you can kind of grow to them. Now, that's good, but I feel like it's really slow. It does take a few months before you can really evolve these characters, and it's really awkward some of the conversations you have because you're supposed to be friends, yet you don't have a social link, yet they don't want to hang out with you. When you ask them to come home with you, for example, which is how you trigger the social link, they'll say no, you know, and then they say you need courage before you can talk to this person, or we sure we can hang out with them or whatever, and you kind of like, all right, well, I guess I don't have any friends. I live with them, but I don't have friends. So that is just super awkward, and I feel like that can be easily fixed there. Another thing that I want them to change is also tartarus. Tartarus is a really plain looking and probably one of the most boring dungeons that you can ever play in any game ever. If you play Persona 5 or you only play Persona 5, let me give you an explanation or kind of an example. Imagine Mementos, but like 10 times worse. You can ride a car cat, so you're walking around and the floors are really badly designed. Some of them are even copy-paste from other. These are randomly generated dungeons, but they don't really feel like randomly generated sometimes because you almost feel like they're the same. So you're constantly going floor after floor after floor, trying to find the next stairs up. And that's interesting in a sense because it makes sense, but one of the mechanics, especially in Persona in Festival, but it's kind of still mechanic in Persona Portable, is characters get tired after a while. So this isn't like other dungeon crawling games where you can go and just grind until you're a certain level. In this game, you definitely need to rest because the characters get tired. Now you can go around it by doing on specific days where they don't get as tired, or they just don't get tired because of story reasons. So you can kind of go around that. You know, if you're a veteran, you play the games many times, or if you're using a guide, they usually tell you this kind of stuff, or you need to know this kind of stuff at this time. But it's definitely a grind sometimes when you just kind of like, I'm trying to be stronger, but I can't because my characters are tired and I can't take them with me and stuff. And if you try to grind, even when you're tired, they get sick, and when you're sick, they can't really do activities like you can study, or you can go to Tartarus, you can do certain things, so it can be a hassle. Now I like the mechanic itself and I think it can be well implemented, but things need to work around that. Another thing that I would like to work on is the way certain enemies work. The game against can be very grindy when it comes to the amount of XP you get. I mean, the first floors you get like a ton of XP, but then next one you go, you're getting like 100 XP or whatever, even if you're like level 100 in Tartarus or whatever. So you're still getting less and less XP, and I don't know, it just feels really grindy for some reason. Even after I'm going back years afterwards, I still feel the same way. So some of this stuff can be rearranged. Now I do like the way that the enemies work in this game because this is based on the tarot. So you fight a wizard tarot, and it has specific attack patterns and that kind of stuff. So I really like all that kind of stuff. I think it's still aged pretty well. It's more the aspect of the way that the enemies look. Some enemies are pretty much copy paste from the other enemies. They just have a different variation in color. I think that is extremely lazy. You do see combinations of different enemies and everything like that, but again, it's just a color swap, you know. So in floor 1, the Maya will look black black, and then in level 2 is gonna be the same Maya but with a color mask red, and then the next level is gonna be with a blue mask, and so on. So that needs to be changed. You know, that is not acceptable in 2020. So if they were to make a remake, I would like them to change that as well. It doesn't really look good. Anyway, that is pretty much in this video here. I have a lot of things that I want to look into a remake, and maybe do a second video kind of to follow up with this. But I really do like the game. I think the story is perfect. I wouldn't change anything in the story. If anything, maybe more choices so you can change certain aspects of the story for your advantage if you want to do the extra stuff and everything. I haven't touched up into the answer. The answer in and of itself, it has its own issues, but I will have to spoil some parts, so kind of talk about some of my issues with the answer, including it brain grindy and some other stuff. But overall, I think the answer could be implemented into the story itself instead of a different gameplay that you have to choose differently and everything. So yeah, that is pretty much in this video here. If you know, please consider liking and subscribing, and let me know if you're excited, you know, if you would like to see a remake of this game, or if there's anything in particular you would like to see. I think a remake for Persona 4 Golden can still hold on for a little bit. I think Persona 4 Golden is still a pretty solid game, so that can still be on its own, but I think Persona 3 has aged pretty poorly over time. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today, guys. I'll see you guys next time.